As I was eating a bag of Twizzlers, I saw this headline. I drank a poop smoothie that gave me life threatening diarrhea for science. So, would you do it for money? 26-year-old Jake Eberts agreed to drink a life threatening concoction of a cloudy, salty liquid containing Shigella bacteria, which are usually found in the poop of people who are infected, all in the name of science. He downed a shot glass amount of the liquid, knowing it would produce a miserable case of dysentery for the sake of research, he told Insider. Now, Alberts was one of 16 healthy young adults participating in the 11-day inpatient trial at the University of Maryland in an attempt to test the effectiveness of a Shigella vaccine and received a payday in exchange. So Eberts said the symptoms from the trial resulted in the worst 8 hours of my life, but would do it all again. If he was paid for this trial, the university said he earned more than $7,000. I mean, would you drink poop for $7,000? I don't want to make myself out to be Mother Teresa here. Would not have done this for free. It's a big ask to someone, or to ask someone to get dysentery, Edwards told Insider when he was discharged from the study. The entire time I was like, wow, this is an awful disease, and I just got really emotional, probably also because I was just delirious about this thought of small children in the developing world dealing with this. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the Shigella bacteria causes 600,000 deaths annually worldwide. While there is no vaccine available against the misery-causing bacteria, it's the second leading cause of diarrhea death, with the number one killer being rotavirus, for which vaccines are available. So sickness from Shigella is often caused by drinking contaminated water, eating ill-prepared food, or coming in contact with someone's infected bowel movements. The Institut Pasteur in France has been working on a vaccine that was first tested in Israel. Ebers was part of a Maryland study conducting further research, and scientists also collect data from young kids in Kenya who may come into contact with the bacteria, although they are not given deathly concoctions. On a side note, this is the ad that got me on Instagram. I appreciate a medical research team that doesn't take itself too seriously. Shigella vaccine research study. You have died of dysentery. Dysentery is caused by a bacteria called Shigella. Help us prevent Shigella. Now that's interesting. If all goes well in the current phase 2 trials and the vaccine is effective and tolerated, it can be tested on a larger scale, but if the vaccine doesn't provide at least 50% protection against severe disease, University of Maryland trial leader Dr. Wilbur Chen told Insider, then we will have a vaccine that really fails, unfortunately. He's hoping for 70% protection. Ebbers thought he had unluckily received placebo injections as part of the unvaccinated group in the trial, since he didn't noticeably react to the shots at first. Unfortunately for him, he ended up having one of the worst cases of dysentery. His symptoms started about 40 hours after drinking the bacteria, complete with cramps and chills at first, then he quickly took a turn for the worst. He had a 100-degree fever, diarrhea, and bloody stool. Now that's a red Christmas. I truly felt like I could not move, Ebert said, calling basic daily movements like going to the bathroom a Herculean effort. Every moment in the bathroom, to get up to wash my hands or to grab a paper towel, I would lie back down on the ground and just sit there for 5 minutes. Waiting to get my vitals taken for the last time today, thinking about tomorrow morning, I made a mood board. Oh, Neptune, positivity won't save you. I'm doing my part. Everything will be okay when the worms eat my body. And the new message that he would send on a phone. Why? So nurses gave him liters of rehydration solution, or SAD Gatorade, as Ebers called it, which was a sweet and salty solution with no delicious flavoring or color, meant to keep him functioning. Eventually, he was given the antibiotic ciprofloxacin, and within 4 hours he began to improve, going from death's door to feeling more alive with the ability to walk and talk with a little bit of effort. I was exhausted and felt miserable, but I didn't feel fear, he said. I knew this is something I signed up for and it will pass, and I'm not going to die or anything, but even if I had been just at home and had somehow come across this, I would have been terrified because it was just awful and the deterioration was so rapid. If I did get the vaccine, that is really bad news for the vaccine, he continued. Since people with shigellosis can infect others, trial participants were forced to stay inside and eat alone during the whole 11 to 12-day study. Even using the restroom was a multi-step process involving a special toilet, hat, and accompanying nurse and some bleach. So Q, question. Wait, so you stayed there for 11 days? Can people send care packages? No care packages, maybe 12 days. 20 or so of us will be in a glorified, very secure dormitory in Baltimore. The study is double blind randomized, so presumably half of us got a placebo injection. Based on my general luck in life and the complete lack of any soreness or reaction when I got my 2 injections, I think I probably got the placebo FML. Q. Why the hell would you do this? 3. Reasons. 1. To help the less fortunate and advance modern medicine. Read to be smarmy and self-righteous. 2. I get paid enough money to basically cover rent for the rest of the year. 3. I get paid even if I don't get dysentery. All in 4, because this is an excellent way to get attention on social media, which, as you may be aware, is of paramount importance to me. I love to be popular online. Q. What if you're dying? Dysentery usually kills people of dehydration or toxins from Shigella, the bacteria that causes dysentery. It can also be caused by an amoeba. This vaccine is only for Shigella. The staff will make sure we are hydrated and not dying. However, they generally will not administer antibiotics until day 5 because their goal here is to measure our innate immune responses. If we are actually dying, of course, they'll administer antibiotics as soon as possible. And Edwards had to relieve himself in the toilet hat, place it in a biohazard bag, and carry it down the hall to researchers who would extract samples from it. Once the nurses took what they needed for the study, he would pour the rest of his bodily waste into the toilet and douse it with bleach, waiting 5 minutes before flushing away. Despite being an exhausting process, collecting patients' waste played a vital role in testing how the vaccine worked because measurements from stools, urine, and blood helped researchers determine what kind of immune response the vaccine produced, Shen said. Scientists analyzed the anti-Shigella IgA antibodies in the various excrements, logging the exact amount and type of cytokines that are in the patient's stools. It is a way for us to be able to learn about the mechanisms of protection, Chen continued. And infected. Here's a delightfully unflattering selfie while taking the buffer solution 2 minutes before the actual Shigella solution. Both tasted like saline. Didn't try to do a video for the latter solution because I was not trying to drop biohazard juice on the floor. When in isolation, Edwards used his time efficiently. Between fighting the bacteria and recovering, he raised more than $24,000 for the Water Project, which provides clean, safe water for communities around the world. Having had this absolutely awful disease and recovered fairly quickly thanks to access to medical care, I really would like to use my 15 minutes of Twitter fame to help prevent it elsewhere, he wrote in the fundraiser description. He documented his experience on Twitter beginning the day before the trial. Tomorrow, I am going to be deliberately infected with dysentery and kept in quarantine in the facility for 11 days as part of a phase LLC vaccine clinical trial, he wrote. That sounds dark, but I assure you I'm extremely excited to overshare this journey with everyone. And following Edwards' barrage of live tweets, Shen said that the center had 20 or 30 some people that signed up with interest. I've been spending my career trying to tackle this, and it's always a challenge to try to find willing volunteers, Shen said. He was just sharing from the heart, and I think people liked it. When asked why the hell, blah, 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 blah. Now, while Edwards can't participate in another Shigella trial due to already being exposed to the bacteria, he's willing to try a similar vaccine challenge. Some people go to soup kitchens to get their charity fix. This might be the way I do it, he said. And I mean, this is a pretty interesting way to go about it, right? Because it hits a bunch of different factors. And the money, based off his wording, the money is good enough for him to basically cover his living expenses, like his rent, for a year. And it only took him like 12 days of work, technically, right? Of like, basically doing pretty much nothing but pooping. You gotta ask yourself, would that be worth it to you, right? I could see someone doing this, paying for basically the rent for the year, and maybe focusing on a better side hustle, a better job. Like it would free up a lot of time for yourself to be able to work on projects that you actually really want to work on or improve your life in a different way. So that's my way of thinking about it. If you want to learn how to get out of debt and master your money, go to 40inbox.com.